So in the last video, we talked about arithmetic operations that we can do. We can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And we talked about the problem of division that we can run into when we have whole numbers. What I want to talk about now is that when you have an expression and you're doing it, the computer will do it the same way that you kind of do it in real life. It will follow the order of operations. So if you have parentheses, it will happen first. If you have exponents, it will happen next. Multiplication and division happen in order, and then addition and subtraction happen in order. So if we look at an example here, I have x equal to -7 plus 3. -7, we see that the negative stuck to the 7, so that -7, the negative is treated as one number. It's called the unary negation. And then we have -7 plus 3. So it's 4. The answer is 4. Now here we have an expression that has several things. We have addition, we have the modulus, we have multiplication and addition. So the first thing is we don't have any parentheses, we don't have any exponents. So we're going to start looking at multiplication and division. And with it, we're going to look at the modulus. So here, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the 4 times modulus 3. So I'm just going to copy this into Paint so that we can do it together. Okay. So the first thing is we have 4 modulus 3. So if I take 4 divided by 3, I'm going to get a 1, remainder 1. So this part gives me a 1 back. Oops, let's go back to a pencil. So this is going to give me a 1. And so now I have -4 plus 1 times 13 plus 2. Okay. The next thing we need to do is the multiplication. 1 times 13 is 13. And so now I have -4 plus 13 plus 2. Now I'm done with the multiplication, division, and modulus, so I just have a bunch of addition and subtraction, so I'll go in order. -4 plus 13 is 9 plus 2, and then 9 plus 2 is 11. So this will give me the result. So we're doing it in the order, just like we do order of operations when we're doing a normal algebraic expression. In the last one here, we have 6 plus 3 minus 4 plus 6 times 3. So the only thing that needs to be done first is the multiplication. So 6 times 3 is 18. And then I'm just going to go in order. 6 plus 3, 9. 9 minus 4, 5. 5 plus 18 is 23. And if I have parentheses, of course, whatever is in the parentheses happens first. So here I have 4 times 5. That's going to happen first. So that's going to give me a 20. 5 minus 2 is going to happen next. That's going to give me a 3. So now I have 20 divided by 3. Now the question is, what's 20 divided by 3? So 20 divided by 3 is 6, remainder 2. Here I have whole numbers, so I'm going to get a 6. I'm not going to get any decimal numbers out of it. So this whole expression will evaluate to 3. And then I have 3 minus 25, and then I'll get the -19. Sorry, 20 divided by 3 is 6, not 3, 6. 6 minus 25 is -19. Okay. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you, that when we're doing the arithmetic operations, we need to just make sure that we follow the order of operations like we do in algebra. Now, Java has something called the combined assignment operators. And I'm just going to show you an example, and then I'm going to come back to this slide. So when we talk about the combined arithmetic operators, so let's say you got a grade. So let's say your grade on the exam was a 70%. Okay, and I want to give extra credit. So I've decided that I'm going to give everyone 8 points extra credit. So what's your grade supposed to be now? Well, your grade is supposed to be equal now. I'm going to change it. So I want to go to your grade. I'm going to say your grade is whatever your grade was, the 70 plus the extra credit. Here, if I have some system.out print messages, print ln my grade was, and then after give you extra credit, it should change. So initially the grade was 70. We changed the grade. We said the grade now is equal to whatever it was plus the extra credit. And so now the grade is 78. So notice here that I had to write the variable grade twice. These combined arithmetic operators, they're shortcut operators to change a variable. So instead of saying grade is equal to grade plus something, I can say grade plus equal, meaning I want you to add to grade and then assign back extra credit. So I want you to add the extra credit to grade and then save it back into grade. That's basically what this expression is saying. Okay, so this is called combined because you're combining two things. You're doing addition and then you're doing assignment. And so here I get the same answer, which is 78. Let's say I don't like that. After I gave you the extra credit, I want to take a penalty out. So I'm going to go to my grade and I'm going to say subtract 2 from it. So now instead of being 78, it's going to be 76 because this line made grade 78. And so now this line is going to make grade 76. And you can do that with multiplication, division, modulus. You can do it with all the arithmetic operators. So here, let's look at these examples. So here I have x is 10. I want to modify x to be 2 more. So I'm going to say x plus equal 2. Well, it was 10. I'm going to add 2 to it, so it becomes 12. If it was 10 and I subtract 2 from it, it becomes 8. It was 10, I multiply 2, it becomes 20. I divide by 2, it becomes 5. I set it to the modulus. Well, 10 divided by 2 is 5, remainder is 0. So now this gives me a 0 that I'm going to store back into x. So I get a 0. And those are called the combined arithmetic operators. We're going to be using them frequently, and you will get used to them. The next thing I want to talk about is an operator called the increment and decrement operator. So in programming, it is very common to want to add 1 or delete 1 from a number. So for example, I have my student count is 10 and a new student, so let's just call it S. A student joins my class, so I want to say, oh, student count is now S count plus 1. So I want to add 1 more. So I added 1 more to S count. Well, I could do it like that, the long way. I could also say S count plus equal 1. So I'm adding 1 and assigning it back. Or I could say S count plus plus, or I can say plus plus S count. So each one of these adds 1. This one will also add 1, and this one also adds 1. So all these 4 lines are equivalent. And if I want to just make sure that they are equivalent, I want to print S count now is, after adding 4 to it, it should be, I started out with 10, made it 11, made it 12, made it 13, made it 14. And so I should get that it is 14. So this is called an increment. What you're doing is you're taking a variable and saying add 1 to it. And the plus plus can be put after the variable or before the variable. There's a slight difference that we're going to talk about. And similarly, we can do minus 1. So if I want to subtract 1, someone withdrew from the class, I can say S count minus minus, or I can say S minus minus S count. And if I print it now, I just subtracted 2 from it. So I should get, instead of 14, I should get that now. So this is a quick way to add 1 or subtract 1 from a variable. Now the question is, what is the difference between having the plus after the variable or before the variable? Well, there is a slight difference. So let's see the difference between plus S count and S count plus plus. So let's look at this statement. So right now, as of now, S count is 12. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say system.out and ln S count plus plus. Okay. So what I'm doing right now, okay, I am requesting two things. I am requesting to print S count. I want to print what S count is, and I'm requesting that S count gets incremented. Now, which one should happen first? Should I print S count first and see that it's 12? Or should I increment S count first, make it 13, and then print it? So when you have two things that are being requested from a variable, here I'm requesting two things from this variable. I'm requesting the addition of 1, and I'm requesting that its value be given to me so I can print it. And when you have this, two things being requested from a variable at the same time, the variable has to decide which one it should do first. So if the plus plus comes after the variable, the plus plus, the increment, is going to happen after any other operation. So here, because the plus plus is after the variable, the increment happens after. That means printing will happen first, and the incrementing. Okay, so if I'm saying the printing will happen first, that means this line should print for me the 12. So when I run it, I see that it's still 12. Well, did it actually do the incrementing? Did it actually change? Well, the only way for me to know is to print it again. So let's print S count again and see. And it did get changed. I see that it did get updated. So here, what happens is S count will get printed. So I will see a 12 printed. When I print it the next time, I see the plus plus taking effect. So I see. Now, what if I had done it differently? So let's go back and set S count back to 12. And let's do this again, but this time I'm going to put the plus plus after. Sorry, I'm going to put it before. So instead of S count plus plus, I'm going to put the plus plus before. So this now is telling the computer, because the plus plus is before the variable, we want to do the addition first. So this says increment first, then print. So if the increment operator is before the variable, it's first. The incrementing is going to happen first. If it's after, it's going to happen after. So when I print this line, it's 12. The incrementing is happening first. I get a 13, and then I get the printing, so I get the actual value 13. If I print S count again, I'm still going to get that it's a 13. It didn't change because incrementing happened before the printing. So it's still going to be 13. So this is going to still give me a 13. And the same with the minus minus. Okay. So what we say is that plus plus, when we put the plus plus first, we say it's a prefix. We're going to do it we're going to do it first. If plus plus is after the variable, we're going to do it post. That's called postfix. Okay. This is just an example that you can try on your own.